Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Grigsby's War in the East as we continue with the Irae series. So it has been a little while. Seem to be saying that far too often lately, but well. Okay, so we do have the push towards Baku in the Caucasus region, which is going fairly well, to say the very least. The vast majority of the Soviet forces down here in the south are cut off from supply, so they will fall in time. Though they do have the benefit of falling back into mountains should they choose, though eventually they will starve if they do so. I mean, there's a few towns out here, but whether there's actually supply in them is another thing. Little bit. That's not too bad. They could probably survive on that for a little while. Not too long, though. Indeed. Most amount of supply would be over here, then. To the further south, though, this is where we see some problems down here in Georgia. That's going to be somewhat more difficult. We are using Italian forces over here to try and break through here, though it's not a priority, and in the end it doesn't make too much of a difference whether we do break the Caucasus region or not. Obviously I would like to, so that would free up the element of the Panzer Army and the forces of the, what is this army? The 11th Army. 11th Army, obviously the Italians, and etc. Hungarians, of course. Romanians too. Okay, so let's make our moves. So we do have a few divisions that are ready for movement, which is fairly decent. We do have the 58th Army headquarters over here, though I do need to pull forces to be able to deal with that. Though, I think what we'll do then is we'll hold off here for the time being, allow the infantry from over this side to finish up here, and then they can hit the flank, which would make things far easier. I'm also not spending valuable resources and valuable fuel on something that's not really worthwhile. This is interesting because they're not counted as cut off yet, though they should be in the following phase. Right, we have two army headquarters over there. That's rather brave of them, rather foolhardy. Okay. Let's see. We'll move out this way just to further separate the forces here. Right, these two headquarters are vulnerable, so I'm going to move that here. And you'll be moved here. That's more so for security than anything else. Now I could move this over here to try and at least reduce the number of hexes, though I don't think that'll happen. There's a number of forces over here, not too much in the way of offensive firepower. I mean, we do have an infantry division here, the rest more than likely airfields and headquarters. So anyway, moving on from the Caucasus to the regions to the north. Okay, so we have our forces over here. The rail is progressing quite nicely. Just expanded it all the way down here. To say we started over here at Rostov, we have made some fairly good progress. It's a very vulnerable line in certain aspects. There's not terribly many cities along the route, so that does give it something of security. Due to the fact that we're not going to be suffering too many partisan attacks due to the lower numbers of, obviously, partisans and Soviet citizens. Okay, now regarding this front, I'm keen to allow them to push down south. The further south they push, the better for me. Because at the end of the day, we do outnumber the Red Army at this point in time now, and I'm keen to envision envelopments. So we do have the push towards Saratov that will be going ahead shortly. Now, considering what we could do here is we could try to envelop these forces here, potentially using only infantry, or potentially using some of the panzers, or motorized. Which would be very doable. It's very doable. The only issue is the river. Though not so much of a factor over here, though there is the rough terrain. The hilly terrain does not help. Okay, first of all we need to get our forces across the river, though I'm not entirely looking at forcing this crossing here. It's a large river, there's no need to suffer the casualties for absolutely, well, for relatively little gain. So the morale here, let's see, 72, okay. So these forces could do a rest, to be fair. We'll embolden them morale. There we go. Occupy that position. Okay, now that makes things interesting. So we have the 3rd Shock Army headquarters here. Good to know. The Romanians don't have the mobility to get in there. Not quite. I could try a hasty attack here, see if we can gain some success. Which, of course, is not going to be very likely. I can punch through here. This should be fairly doable. If we force aside the 1st Guards Tank Corps, the 28th Tank Corps, and the 71st Tank Brigade, we should be able to have easy access to this region to south. So we'll do just that. A little bit of air support from the Flotilla 2. Sorry, Loft Flotilla 6. Okay, retreat. Hasty attack should finish this up. Sweet. Okay. We did take the town over here as well. Sadly, no resources worth a damn. Okay, you can hold that position. You, my friend, can move up on the flank. A hasty attack may be able to... Yeah, there we go. Fantastic. That frees up this infantry division now to move forward without much problem. Okay, we'll move forward the headquarters. What do we have in terms of support over here? We don't really have much spare support. That's fine. The 9th Infantry Division's looking pretty decent there. Okay. So we need to cross the river, though do we? We do have the Panzers over here. They could... Right, okay. Let's see. We don't have much in the way of mobile assets to the north over here. There's a lot of airfields here, goddamn. Okay. Considering... I mean, we of course could move our forces through this gap over here, which is easily done. We could do that right now. But I think what we ought to do then is force these forces away from this river line. Push them back, widen this gap over here, allow our forces to move through using less fuel, because obviously they're not being as careful, I suppose you could say, due to the lack of enemy presence. So we'll do that then. I'll push to the north, try and dislodge them through a river line. Would be the best idea. Probably starting the attack here, perhaps. Okay, so we have shattered. I lost the 24 armoured fighting vehicles there. Okay, now this is going to be a little bit more stubborn. I could throw the 100th Jaeger into there. Though the Jaegers are pretty damn handy, I need to try and keep them somewhat ready for combat. Okay, we'll try and attack from different angles here. They also do have the town as well, which is also helping out their defensive combat value. Not certain. Yeah, that's going to hold. Okay, that's fine. Ideally, it would be nice to have captured the town, but we'll make do. Okay, and cross. Right, now they're going to be cut off regardless. Hasty attack should have a good opportunity here. Yep, there we go, that's exactly what I need. Then we'll use a full attack. Follow up the attack. There we go. I don't think they'll be able to... Oh no, they did manage it. Fantastic. Right. Ideally, dislodge this. I don't think that's going to happen though. Okay. Was kind of hoping that would shatter. getting better. Okay, the town here. And nothing of value. It's a shame. Right then. So we have a 80 artillery brigade over here. We have a number of airfields, which are easy to deal with. A headquarters there. So, we do have the elements of the 3rd Panzer Army. These could be used fairly effectively. Now, do I have any... Right, motorized. I'd rather use motorized. They're basically glorified infantry divisions. Obviously, just motorized infantry divisions. So I prefer using them for things like this due to the fact that we don't need full Panzer divisions to hold this gap. At least I don't imagine so. The issue really comes to the narrowness over here. I do have that remaining armor division. I don't think that would be enough to force that issue. Okay. We still have a little bit more movement here. Let's push up that a little bit further. Okay, there we go. So pushed up that a little bit further. It's going to give us a little bit more room to grasp. I do wish I had a little bit more of a hasty attack left in that division, but oh well. Okay. See, now we could reach the outskirts of Saratov, and in fact, I could rather, we'll move the infantry divisions. We'll get that done first. We might as well do that. Otherwise, we're going to be moving behind our lines. And that's going to make things more complicated than they should be. Should be a fairly easy push over here. To Panzer. I'm actually surprised they held. Shot to them ideally. Okay. Lovely. First Guard Army. That's going to catch on a lot. Let's take a look at the numbers here then, shall we? So obviously they're lacking in terms of troops. The amount of planes they do possess, though, is fairly high. So if we can dislodge all these airfields and ideally launch a few airfield strikes, though my air assets are somewhat separated. We do have a few airfields down here in the south. We do have a couple over here which we do need to shift forwards to provide more support to the front line. But there's not too much air power consolidated. I don't want to throw it all against the Red Air Force. Otherwise I'm going to lose a good number of planes for very, very little gain. Okay. Importantly, this rail route is cut. Not that it was being used anyway. So is Panzer an actual city then? It appears to be. Indeed it is. Fairly good location to try and capture. Okay. Your headquarters. Right. Okay, so the headquarters should be able to draw from the 2 towns over here in terms of supply. Which is good news. We do have a little bit of supply there. A little bit there. Not much, but at least it's something. Their supply cost isn't too much anyway. 10 movement. Well, 10 MP. It's not much at all. Okay. Lovely. No dice. Okay, so we've shifted over here. If we had something mobile, we'd be able to reach Penza and take the city. Which, thinking about it, might be worthwhile just to send a... just send something. I don't imagine the Romanian armor would make it now. They don't have the fuel, plus they can't go above this line anyway. We could have the 20th motorized make it. They would have a lot more movement over here. Okay. We do have a little bit of movement over here. If we're going to do something, we need to blow this open. Okay, that's a lot better. Though I still want this court out of the way. That court is really causing me some issues. Do we have anything spare within the actual city of Stalingrad itself? We have something spare. Throw the 1st SS motorized brigade in there just to give them a hand. Okay. Good. Capture the town over here. Dubrovka. Right, that gives me a little bit more. There we go. That's the earlier problem out of the way. We'll go for a hasty attack, see what we can manage. Ah, that's not bad. Force them to retreat at least. That is excellent. That is definitely better than what I could have hoped for. Okay, so that really... that definitely frees things up. So really in this turn we could most easily surround these forces around Stalingrad, at least the forces pressing down on the Volga. We could be on the outskirts of Saratov, potentially capturing the city of Saratov, though it does appear that there is something within Saratov. We could even capture Penza over here in the north, which would open up the way towards Kubayashav. We do have the Volga here, just to give us some cover to the flanks as well. So that's handy. Okay, let's make this work. We'll move the forces of the 1st Panzer Army first of all. Alright, we'll go with the 11th. I believe it was the 11th that held Stalingrad for a bloody long time. We still have some attack there, so what I'll do then is I'll move the 11th. Okay, we'll go for a hasty attack. Good. Okay, I'll move up the air assets. That's still good. Okay, better. Spread the division out there. Okay, we can move over the 22nd. No, that's not gonna budge. Keep them there. Okay. See, the 13th has a lot of bloody movement there. I mean, the thing is, do I go for a shallow envelopment? There's nothing really much over here to the rear, so we might as well go for a deep envelopment. Though that will complicate things significantly. Okay, so let's head over here, see what we're dealing with. Okay, nothing. So spread out. What do we have in the town? Just a little bit of supply. A little bit of supply would be nice, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Hold that position. Okay, there we go. That keeps everybody happy. Try a hasty attack, see what we can manage. Okay. So just need a few more elements and then we can complete this. I think what we're going to do is we're going to establish a line along the Volga. I think that's a good idea. So if we head down here, then we can separate these forces and isolate them regardless. Also, open up this center. Okay. That wouldn't be a bad idea, due to the fact that we'd at least hold a few more hexes within the center as well. At least further separate the pockets. Though... We'll go for that then. Catches a lot more ground, to be fair. Okay, there we go. Captured the city of Saratov. And angled. Well, we'd have to cross the river for that. Okay, so we need to clear this line so we have access to the rails. Okay, well, have you take control of this division over here. Then at least these forces, should they be separated, are still attached. It's not the best. I suppose we started thinking that we should just go for this alone, and then it turned into, well, we might as well be able to take, take Saratov. Now is Saratov taken? That does give us some nice room to maneuver. Good amount of fuel there. Good amount of supply. It's not a huge amount, but it's enough just for the time being. A little bit of supply over here too. Also, knock out some yak production over there. Okay. Refit off. Right, we'll focus on this. Okay, you can't move through there. You could move them this way, but that's not going to work. It's good to see the Grosse Deutschland as a motorized division. I mean, they were incredibly useful as a brigade, but as a division, they are even better. Jesus Christ, look at that movement. That's insane. The fact that we could almost take the city over here is pretty insane. I think we'll go for Penza. Then Luz can take the far flank over there, and if I can link it up to the units in the centre, that would be good. Also taking other urban areas, again taking more population away from the Soviet Union, also reducing the number of troops they have, also reducing their manufacturing capabilities. And their infrastructure too. There we go. What do we have here then? That's much better. May as well take advantage of this city. Yeah, there's a decent amount of supply there. So at least the Corps commander can actually take the supplies from Panzer and have that parceled out to the actual panzers. Okay. I seem to have some more forces over here that I can use. That's pretty awesome. Indeed. That's too far north. I need to have something of a consolidated advance. We could try to fill in some of these gaps, to be fair. Right, we'll have them marshal at Penza. Or at least around Penza. Keep their fuel relatively up there. Okay. Then at least with that we'll be able to push deeper into the following phase. That would be pretty damn decent. Now then, we still have a few forces available to us. What can this corps do? It seems like this corps, I was going to say almost, but no dies. I think we'll have this corps push up the centre. There we go. Yeah, there's really not much they can do about this. Now, the Große Deutschland, they could push up very, very far. I think that would be too bold. Most because I have nothing to support it then, and I don't have much fuel to go for something of that scale. I'll just put you down here with the Romanian forces then. At least it's less of a logistical demand on the panzers. Okay. Ideally I need to smash this. Very good. Very, very good. At least I can convert some extra rail. Okay. Right, so we can drop some fuel here. We'll drop it into the actual core itself. We only have the squadron there of Junkers 52/3s. There's a few fighters in the area though, so I really don't want to be throwing too many out there. They are very, very valuable. Okay. Move this up over here. I need that to take on fuel, so I could do it attaching something to it just so it would do. 4th Army headquarters over here. Should really move that up. Okay. These airfields need to be moved up. Okie doke. So we push pretty deep here. We've taken Saratov, which is the objective I wanted. We have these forces over here that should be annihilated in the following turn. And really, once these are gone, then what can they really push to the area? I mean, they have this one rail line over here. If we cut this rail line over here at angles, which is practically cut already. I mean, sure, they can have forces delivered to angles, but they're not going to be able to do much. It's a shame I couldn't take the city this turn, to at least hold it, but I will. And other than that, they have the one connection over here to Kibyshev. Other than that, they really do not have much, unless they go all the way down here to the, over here to the north, or they move forces from the south. So what we might do here then is use these forces over here, try to push towards Saransk, and sever that rail connection. Gorky is within sight. Just need to consolidate further forces. We are pushing the flank a little bit. We do have all this over here, but frankly we need to get all these troops moved. I mean, there's a vast number of troops now ready after the annihilation of the Volga front. And with the annihilation there, and the collapse of the Soviet front there, we have practically an entire army to move. Well, practically 2 armies to move, which is pretty good. So, I think we'll call it a episode here, so thank you guys for watching so very much. Apologies for the lateness of this episode. There will be more coming out more regularly. So until next time, goodbye for now. Have a great day or evening, whatever you are, whatever you're doing. See you all very soon. And to those of you who do wish to support me, then please consider donating to me on PayPal or becoming one of my patrons. With the YouTube apocalypse, it's really difficult to get anything meaningful out of the effort. Not that I do it for cash, it's a hobby really, but obviously it does allow me to keep doing this. It does cost a while. Cost a what? So, until next time, goodbye for now. See you soon, guys.